a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Driving on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, getting boned, getting high, getting shook. Watch all your folks, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's easy to do one night stands. Try being a rock and roll man. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Rife, and welcome back to the 2005 season of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series, here for race number 4 here tonight from the High Banks of Homestead, under the lights, round number 4. Coming your way in just a moment. Gonna be a fun one, as always, here tonight, as we take you trackside in just a second. Taking a look at your starters here today. Your starting lineup, it's going to be Greg Biffle in the 16 on pole, with Ryan Newman in the 12 car starting to his outside. Rest of your top 5, it'll be Mayfield in the 55 in 3rd. Robbie Gordon will be starting in 4th place in the 31. And Tony Stewart going to be in 5th place in the 20 to round out that top 5. A good qualifying by David Green in the 21. Jimmy Johnson also with a nice qualifying session in the 48. Last race's winner going to be in 7th. Sterling Marlin with a good starting position as well. 8th place to Dale Jarrett. 9th, your points leader, Jeff Burton. And 10th goes to the 0 car of Christian Elder. A couple of drivers with poorer starting spots. Casey Kane, one of the points frontrunners, starting a bit further down the order, with Kurt Busch in the 01 joining him back there at the back end of the field as well. You see the 23 car of Scott Wimmer back there as well, as we now await the command. Drivers getting ready to start their engines here from Homestead.
Drivers, start your engines!
81 laps here from Miami tonight. Gonna be a lot of action, a lot of passing expected here tonight. We see a lot of comers and goers at this racetrack in the past, and expect nothing different here today. And we'll see if the pole sitter can even lead the opening lap here tonight. That's the sort of racing you can expect from this racing facility as we get set to get underway here. Pace car going to peel off momentarily, and he'll roll off here for your field of 42 cars here for the Radio Shack 400. Into the restart box, green flag in the air. We are underway here from Homestead. A great start from pole sitter Greg Biffle in the 16 gets him the lead into turn number 1. He does not relinquish it. Biffle, your leader after just one short lap. Ryan Newman, race number 2 winner, trails in 2nd place. 3rd stays Mayfield. 4th is still going to be Tony Stewart. And Jimmy Johnson looking into the inside of the 31 of Robbie Gordon for 5th. And he will get that position as they head down the back straightaway. Here comes Stewart getting a little aggressive early, but Mayfield powering back around that outside to hold on to 3rd. Seeing a lot of 3 wide action. Field fanning out in the mid-pack. Down the front straightaway there. See Jeff Gordon on the outside of 3 wide as Labonte and Dale Jr. go side by side back there. Jr. a bit of a early mover, as well as the 38 of Kane making up some positions on the inside back there. A lot of cars going places early in the running. That's what we talked about. Johnson and Robbie Gordon side by side there. Here's Mayfield for 2nd on Newman. Couldn't quite get the move to stick, but he's going to remain right there and looking to the inside to try another attempt at that pass on the 12. Down low, kept it down there. Dead heat between those two off of turn number 4 as they remain side by side for 2nd. No problems there. We see 23 of Scott Wimmer all the way in dead last at the current moment, fighting with Stanton Barrett in the 95 car. Couple of other notable drivers down the order. Sauter and Riggs both spending some time in the back of the field right now. A bit of a poor get going for Lyndon Amick in the 30, who started in, I believe it was 14th for Richard Childress Racing. We see Dale Jarrett back there. Kurt Busch trying to make up some positions on the inside. Kane still picking up spots in that 38. He's inside of the top 15 by now, taking it 3 wide on Green and Gordon. And he will move into 11th place. John Wood in the 6, your final car in the top 10. A lot of big movers early in the running and a lot of cars not where you'd expect them to be. However, it is familiar faces up front for the lead as here comes Ryan Newman trying to make the first overtake for P1 tonight. Couldn't get it done as Biffle clears him into turn number 1. Mayfield on the outside as Stewart tries to go low for that 3rd spot. Early in the going, Stewart picking up a bit of speed after a few laps have been completed on the slightly older tires. Tire degradation a big factor at this racetrack. Jeff Burton nearly took it 3 wide for 2nd place, your points leader after just a handful of races completed. Stewart in the 2nd, tried to dive it in on Biffle, couldn't quite get there, but piling the pressure on the 16 in the middle of a Roush and Gibbs sandwich. Jimmy Johnson looking to change that, however. Looked low on Burton, but couldn't keep the nose underneath him. A single file train all the way through the top 9 under a blanket here. Johnson going to try again for 3rd place and sent it way harder that time and makes very quick work of Jeff Burton. Here's Tony Stewart looking to the inside for the race lead on Greg Biffle. And we have ourselves a new leader, Jimmy Johnson, last race winner, lurking in 2nd and looking to be inside. See if Tony can cover him off. No, he cannot. Here's Johnson on the inside. It's not going to be Stewart to lead this lap. It'll be Jimmy instead, who takes P1 once again. That 48 car out front here at Homestead. Down the backstretch, Biffle already at risk of losing a top 5 running position right now as Robbie Gordon makes quick work of him for that 5th spot and just forces his way in on the 12 of Newman to make it 2 for 1 there in 3 and 4. Wasting no time in trying to get closer to that front group. as Jimmy Johnson putting a gap on the 20 of Tony Stewart after a few short laps in the lead. Robbie Gordon getting very aggressive right now, once again forcing his way through on Apex, making his presence known at the time. For right now, looking on the inside of Stewart, but couldn't quite get there. We'll have to settle for third for the moment, but not a bad running position, as it is all familiar faces up front. Johnson, Stewart, Robbie Gordon, your top three. But Mayfield looking to spoil that party, as here comes that Hendrick 55 down low on Robbie for third place. Does make it stick down there. Young gun Jamie McMurray up front at the moment. Right behind that 55 on the inside line. He's got Jeff Gordon in his mirror. This is a big pack of cars for the final top 10 spots. Biffle fading quickly on the long run right now. Jeff Gordon making his first appearance in the top 5 right now as he looks low on the 31 to take fourth away from Robbie, and does so without a fight behind his teammate. It is 3 Hendrick cars in the top 5, and until Burton completes this pass, all Chevrolets in the top 5, with Stewart in the 20 and Robbie Gordon in the 31. Stewart closing for the race lead. Here comes that 20 car on the inside. If he can make it stick down there, Jimmy cuts him not a whole lot of room, but Stewart makes it work. And trying to actually lead a lap this time, side by side, they remain down the backstretch. Jimmy with a bit of a run on the outside, but you can imagine Stewart going to complete this move on the bottom. No, not quite. That 48 staying stingy on the outside. Stewart does lead that lap, though, as here comes Jeff Gordon into third place. And wasting no time in taking advantage of the battle between the two, as he immediately slips past his teammate Johnson in the 48. And now, maybe with an opportunity to try to take the lead here. A little bit faster on corner exit than the 20, but not quite close enough unless he wants to try to dive it into turn number 1, which he will not. Johnson looking to get aggressive with his teammate down to the inside on the backstretch as they dog it out for second place. Gordon almost cleared him on the top, but maybe overdrove the mid-corner a little bit. Johnson allowed to close back up on the inside. Still side by side between these two. Familiar scene for second place. Gordon staying tight on that outside. What a run through turn 2. Almost got clear of the 48 into 3, but not quite fast enough to get that move all the way done. And Johnson finally completes the pass on Gordon for second. Jeremy Mayfield, once again out of the Hendrick car, trailing in fourth place, and still all Chevrolets in the top 5. Trailed by Dodge, Ford, Pontiac, all the 3 different manufacturers. The first 3 cars outside of this top 5. How about that 38 of Casey Kane? Although fighting with Kenseth for the final spot in the top 10 right now. A great run here in the first 20 laps for that 38 team. Dale Jr. made up some spots as well, and Carl Edwards trailing just outside the top 10 himself. Biffle seems to have stopped bleeding positions for the time being, although trailed by his teammate Kenseth, who's looking a little bit quick right now as they head down the back straightaway. Robbie Gordon looking for fourth place on Mayfield in the 55, and he makes quick work of that Kellogg's Chevy, as here's Jimmy Johnson for the race lead. Side by side between Johnson and Stewart. Off of turn number 2, a dead even playing field. Jeff going to look to the outside. Robbie going to look to the inside. 2x2 at the front of the field. And Johnson powers through against that 20. And here's McMurray looking to make some moves with Jeff Burton in tow behind him. Pretty much the whole of the top 10 sends the very last car in this group for the race lead. Robbie Gordon second ahead of Stewart. McMurray still fighting with Jeff Gordon for fourth place. As he manages to make that group stick. Found the grip down there, and McMurray's through to fourth, although he's going to have to cover Newman in the 12. And does so beautifully into turn number 1. Nice moves by that 40 team. He's into fourth place. I cannot English. Side by side here for fifth between Newman and Jeff Gordon. Down the backstretch as it's looking like Newman's going to make that move and complete the pass. Although Jeff looking a little stingy on that outside. Jamie McMurray looking for third place on Stewart now. Down the front stretch as it is likely that we will be nearing our first pit window in the next few laps here. McMurray unable to complete the pass on Stewart for third, but stays right on the back bumper of that Home Depot Chevy down the backstretch. Robbie Gordon closing in on Johnson for the lead. It's been a lot of give and take today. We've seen so many position swaps up front, and yet still a lot of the same faces up front for most of this race as of yet, but still a good 55 or so laps to go here from Homestead as Robbie Gordon looks to make a move for the race lead. He's got help from McMurray on the bottom, although McMurray looks to take it 3 wide into turn number 1. Stewart quickly backs out on the outside. Robbie with a big run on the high side off of turn 2. And it'll have to be his second effort against Johnson in the 48. Down the backstretch, here's Newman looking for third. Sends it as hard as he can on the bottom. Making use of his presence, and now looking for second place on Robbie Gordon in the 31. And how about, I'd like to take a quick moment to note on, that was the 2 car of Kenny Wallace. That 2 started in 39th place here today, and now all the way just inside the top 20, looking at a top 15, as we're going to be seeing pit stops here. A little bit of contact there between Kenseth and Carl Edwards, but most of the leaders get into the pits cleanly, and it was Jamie McMurray in the 40 who sticks out to lead a lap under this pit cycle, but tires are really starting to fall off. And also losing a bit of time getting out of the way, as that is the 23 car of Scott Wimmer slow on the racetrack. Let's have a look at what happened there. It looks like a crash. Yes, it was contact with Fultz, and Fultz just took him out. Wow, goodness gracious. Take a look back at that. Does not look like the 32. No, what in the world is happening there? Fultz didn't look like he was planning to pit. Yeah, no, goes straight through the 23. And the track remains green. Interestingly enough, there was no traffic behind the 23 for that to be called a caution. And that'll be looked at after the race with Fultz and Wimmer involved in that one. Otherwise, pit cycle coming to a close right now as Jimmy Johnson is well clear in the race lead. It will be his teammate Mayfield currently in second on track. We'll see where the final group comes out. That pack of cars going to be led by Gordon in the 24, but not even going to be close as Jimmy Johnson pulls out in front and will have the race lead once this pit cycle finishes out. Big gap to teammate Mayfield in the 55. Robbie Gordon, net P3. And what a pit stop for the 97 to Carl Edwards as he is fourth on track right now. And you can see Wimmer, after his repairs, leaving the pit lane and will fall a lap down in that 23, missing the rear bumper as they took that part of the car off. And Mayfield quickly catching up to him. Going to get held up a little bit, but shouldn't be too much tough work here for the 55 as he is going to... Ooh, maybe made a bit of contact. It was very close between him and Wimmer there in turn 1, but Mayfield going to get clear of him. And here's Edwards side by side with Robbie Gordon, who is pinched in behind the 23 Dodge. Loses that position to sophomore Edwards. Down the front stretch, all Jimmy Johnson out front with a lead of a little over a second to Mayfield in the 55 car. Jeff Gordon in the 24 will round out your top 5. A great pit stop for Kevin Harvick, who is now in 6th place. 7th, Bobby Labonte, a fringe top 15 driver for that first run, now finds his way into the top 10. Tony Stewart, who found himself battling for the lead, is now all the way back into 8th place. McMurray in 9th, and it's still Kenseth v. Kane for the final spot in the top 10 right now. But we will see if Mayfield can run down his teammate for the lead with that Roush 97 in his mirror. Edwards may be looking like he wants to do it himself. A bit of a run off of turn 4. Had to let up so he didn't run into the back of the 55. Now to the inside. But could not stay there into turn 1. But Mayfield still slowly catching up, a little over a tenth faster that last lap. Taking that draft and using it to the fullest of his advantages as he hit 201 miles an hour into turn 3 that time. But Edwards still looking impatient. Down to the inside again. Can he stay there this time? No, he cannot. Once again, Mayfield clear. And still just a hint faster than that 48. Edwards so much faster than the 55 in 3 and 4. Pretty much every lap he's looked quicker in that section of the racetrack. Might be faster than him, but hasn't quite found a way to get around him yet. But either way, with this draft, it's looking like Mayfield and Edwards will catch up to Johnson, although a bit of a poorer corner by Edwards in 3 and 4 that time. A very poor corner. He lost about 10 car lengths in one turn. It's a big old draft train back to about 13th place, and it is actually 14 cars in this train with Ricky Hendrick, the last car in line up front here. 15 cars in total, including the lapper Wimmer in the 23. Mayfield closing up some more, getting right onto the back bumper of Johnson. Just about 4 or 5 car lengths now between the two teammates as the 99 car, that is your points leader, Jeff Burton, blowing up, and that is going to bring out your first caution of the day. That's a tough break for the 99 team as Burton entered this race in the points lead, was running top 10, fringe top 5 for a lot of this race, and he is going to be out of it. Down a motor and stopped on the racetrack. Jimmy Johnson catches a break there with Mayfield looking so quick. He will hold on to the race lead at the caution flag. We'll see with such a short run since pit stops, only about 5 to 10 laps since all these drivers came in. Looking like we're going to maybe see some pit stops here. We'll find out what the strategy is going to be for all of this top group. Robbie Gordon in the 31, as well as Jeff Gordon in the 24, look like they're going to stay out here. And will do so. It'll be Robbie Gordon and Jeff Gordon the only two drivers, although nope, John Wood also going to stay out in the 6. Hornaday in the 08 on the track still as well. And that's going to be it for drivers staying out. Just 4 cars going to stick on the racetrack after that short run, as Jimmy Johnson heads into his pit box. We'll see if it's going to be 4 or 2 tires for some of these guys. It'll be 4 for Edwards, 2 for Kane. We're going to see some slip strategy here. Kenseth on 2, going to be 2 tires for the 40 as well. It'll be 4 tires for Johnson, who entered in the race lead. Tony Stewart with 2 tires in the 20. Advantage to a couple of these guys who ended up taking 2. Gained some positions on the short run. Stewart, the biggest mover. Kenseth picked up some spots. Kane, not as many in the 38, but still better off than he would have been on 4. And that 23 of Wimmer will be receiving Lucky Dog here after this caution period. Will be allowed to wave around. And we will take you to intermission to get this caution finished up and get back under racing here. We're back here from Homestead, and under that caution period, Elliott Sadler in the 15 car had a tire go down on him under yellow. Pit road still open, so he comes in for 2 to get that tire replaced and sticks on the lead lap, but will be down in 41st place behind the 23 of Wimmer after that problem for him in the pit lane. Other than that, most of the field looking the same. About 10 laps completed on that last set of tires under green, so it makes sense for the pit strategy for some of these guys to pit for fuel, pit for tires, see if they can be a little faster. But a bit of a gamble here for Robbie Gordon, Jeff Gordon, John Wood, and Hornaday all stayed out, and Tony Stewart on 2 tires. Your winner off of pit road. Pace car peels off, and we go back to green flag racing here from Miami. Good start from Robbie Gordon, though Jeff Gordon away pretty well in the 24 as well. We'll see how things shape up after a couple laps with these guys on 10-lap-old tires up front and a couple more of them on 2. McMurray, Kenseth, and Stewart all on 2 tires after that last caution period. Kane was one of the one on 2 tires as well. I believe Edwards in the 97? Not entirely sure on his part. Let's have a look-see here. 97 took 4 tires on that last stop. So full pace from the Sharpie Irwin Ford. Jimmy Johnson side by side with McMurray. A great start there by all of the top 4, although Stewart gonna get aggressive and take him 3 wide, as Johnson is also taken 3 wide by Harvick on the inside. Big mover is that 29, as he gained 4 or 5 positions there in one corner and enters the top 5 in 4th. Robbie Gordon lost the lead that lap to Jeff Gordon in the 24, who puts a bit of a gap to the field, would love to do so, with him having to pit sooner than these guys and going to be slower with the tire degradation on this run. Side by side with the 31 is Stewart, although he could not hold it down there, and ends up side by side with Harvick trying to go around the outside in the 29. Down the backstretch, John Wood blocking for his life in the final top 5 spot. Here's Kane versus Johnson. Doors open on the inside for the 38, as these guys on 2 tires looking pretty quick right now. About an even playing field between them for the moment. Looking like those left sides not mattering a whole lot, but it might pay off a little more for the 4 tire guys on the longer run. Kane into the top 5, trying to block Wood and Biffle, a couple of Roush boys side by side behind him, and does so perfectly. Harvick with a run on teammate Robbie, looking to the inside on Gordon down the front stretch. That was 4 wide in the deep pack. Kenseth going absolutely nowhere. That 27 all the way in dead last now. Have a look at what happened there in 3 and 4. Just kind of not going super fast there. I had a big mistake. Something went wrong there in the middle of 1 and 2, and that 17 car is having an absolute struggle right now. Yeah, not looking very quick right now as he is off of the pace and now out of that front pack. Top 4 order still the same after we left them. Harvick, nothing going against his teammate Robbie Gordon right in front of him as Stewart looks to try to trade 3rd place with him again. Harvick tried to block him and does actually hold him off on the outside. And now sets his sights on the 31 car again. But no move from Harvick. As Jeff and Robbie's gamble continues to pay off here, and this allows the 38 of Casey Kane to catch up to the front 5. Excuse me. Greg Biffle also catching up there. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 just not looking very quick on this run. Not even in the top 10 right now, trying to recover and take it 3 wide on the 19 and 01 car. Very nearly made contact with Kyle Busch. At least gets past the 19, although Kyle trying to make a run at him on the outside off of turn number 2 as they head down the backstretch. Dale Jr. almost cut into the 48, but Johnson gets right back past him. It will be 11th place, I believe, for Johnson now. As for the lead, Harvick finally found an opening on the inside, and the 29 car finally taking advantage of the better tires and into the race lead ahead of teammate Robbie Gordon. Tony Stewart still having some trouble getting past these guys on the inside lane. At least has cleared Gordon now and just pulls away from the 31. No challenge there out of turn 4, and Stewart into 2nd. Finally a change of face up front. Harvick trying to hold off the 20. Was looking pretty quick last week at Vegas, as was Stewart. Those two ran up front quite a bit during that event. Here's Biffle on Jeff Gordon for 4th. Those old tires may be really starting to give way on that car. 15 of Sadler. Excuse me, that is incorrect. Kenseth into the pits in the 17. Just absolutely nothing going right there. He fell so far off of that lead pack. Those old tires just not working for him at all. We see a lot of these guys. Carl Edwards, his strategy call not working out. These Roush cars looking really slow on the older tires, as Edwards not even inside the top 35 at the moment. Dale Jarrett also stuck back here with these guys in the back end of the field. Just not entirely sure why it's not working out for him. We see, again, a couple examples. Casey Kane in the 38. Still up front and inside the top 10 right now. And let's have a look here at some of these guys who pit. Biffle was another car on 2 tires in the 16. And Tony Stewart was on 2 tires himself, and he runs 2nd at the moment. Although Kevin Harvick, your race leader, one of the cars on 4 tires. And this is going to be pit stop time for the 24 and 31. Guys who stayed out under that last caution now going to make their rounds in the pits as Gordon into the pit lane here on lap 57. And John Wood in the 6 also into the pits along with them. Only car that stayed out under that caution period, Hornaday Jr., barely outside the top 20. Another car that stayed out and stayed on the track, although I believe he is going to come in here. Look out, that's a tough situation, but he finds his way in, and Hornaday makes his way onto the pits. So we'll see how this plays out now, as I do believe, yes, those guys who pit in are going to have plenty fuel to make it. It will be just over 20 to go for them, and the fuel run a little bit longer than 20 laps. It was around, I believe, lap 23 or 24 that we saw our first pit cycle. Hard to say. Hard to recall. 25, it was anywhere from 25 to probably around lap 30 that those guys pit in, but not quite for certain. So we'll see with 4 tires and fuel what the 24 and 31 can make of their alternate strategy as this race soldiers on without them for now. Your top 5 will be Kevin Harvick on 4 freshies up front. It'll be Stewart on 2 in second. Third place is the 5 car, Ricky Hendrick. Not sure what his strategy was. I believe Newman in the 12 was on 2, and Jimmy Johnson in the 48 on 4 tires in 5th place. A couple more 2-tire stop drivers. Casey Kane in 8th place. I am not entirely sure on the strategy of Kurt Busch. Seeing a lot of varying names up front and varying strategies as Stewart trying to be a hero on the worst compound. Looking to the inside, but Harvick holds him off in the 29 as we have just 20 laps to go here from Miami. Bit spread out between the front few. Top 5 find themselves all separated here as this race continues to wind down. A battle for third between Hendrick and Newman in the 5 and the 12, although they might be closing up to the 2 leaders as Harvick continues to feel the pressure from Stewart in the 20. Bit of late run action here. Let's do something a little bit different for the time being. Inside the final 20 laps, we'll take you to NASCAR Crank It Up here on ESPN. Problems on the racetrack. That is the 01 of Kurt Busch with an engine issue, smoking on the backstretch, and that was a spinner as well. We're going to have the caution out here, and it's already called for me, as a matter of fact. Yellow flag waves here from Homestead, as let's get a look at the problem there with Kurt Busch, who is now stopped on the backstretch. 01 car, looks like he was in the top 10, lost a motor there right in front of the 55. Bit of a big checkup. And, ooh, contact there, and it is Andretti in the 43 that goes sideways. Saves it, though. But nonetheless, car slow in the middle of the track. Caution flag comes out here from Homestead. That is actually going to benefit all those guys who pit in 24, 31, 6, and 08. Although, maybe not. Those 2 are actually, or those 4 were caught a lap down. So that is really not going to work out for him. So, excuse me, a tough break for those 4 who end up having pretty good runs, at least for the front 3. Going to be completely thrown away here, as now the playing field will be reset. And looking like it's going to be 4 fresh good years for the front runners. Tony Stewart, race leader, into his pit box. No, I find myself mistaken. It'll be left sides only for the 20 car of Tony Stewart. And how about no tires for the 0 of Christian Elder, who is into the race lead? What in the world? Yup, no tires for the zero car, and it's looking like everybody on 2 before took left sides only, and it was right sides only for any of the drivers on 4 tires. So it'll be wave around time here as Gordon number 2, John Wood, and the 08 will all be waved around the pace car here to get their laps back. Christian Elder gonna gamble it out here from Homestead, takes no tires in the Haas Zero car, and is now your race leader. Will at the very least get bonus points for leading this lap here. And he takes over the top spot ahead of Harvick in the 29. So the order gets shuffled up pretty big here. I just cannot believe that call. It's left sides only for some of these guys. I believe Kane might have been one of the ones that took left sides only as well. Yes, he was. So pretty much all of the drivers on 2 tires taking just lefts. We'll take you to intermission and get this caution period finished up. Here from Miami, Christian Elder, your race leader. We're back from intermission here from Miami. As we get set to go green here, it'll be Elder, Harvick, Newman, Johnson, Kane, your top 5. Be very interested to see how the varying tire strategies play out here on this short final run. It will be 12 laps to go. Pace car going to peel into the pit lane to give Elder in the 0 your race lead. We're back under green here from Miami. The run down into turn number 1. Elder holds the lead. We'll see how long that lasts on no tires. Harvick already to the inside. Didn't last long. Harvick into the lead. Here is Newman trying to get second place. They're all over running that 0 car. Kane taking it 3 wide on the 48. Driver's running way high there. You wonder if the 0 was planning to pit that time by. As Elder is going absolutely nowhere. Is he running out of gas? Getting outran down the backstretch. And we can confirm Elder did not fuel that car enough. That is going to be Carl Edwards in the pits as well. With 10 laps to go, that is a tough break for those guys. I guess Elder just wanted to lead some laps here. And he is now into the pits and out of it. And we focus back on your race leaders. Newman looking to the inside to try to pass Harvick into turn 3. Harvick tries to cover him off. Run through the mid-corner for Newman. And The 12 has not quite got the lead yet. He led at the line, trying to clear Harvick off of turn number 2. Still there is the 29 on the outside. Johnson looking to the inside on Kane for third. Newman's got the lead. The 12 to first. Clears Harvick, throws a block on him into turn 1. That opens the door a little bit for Johnson, but Harvick covers him off. He might have a counter move down the backstretch. We're going to see. Top 5 could be thrown under a blanket here right now. Harvick looks to the inside in turn 3. Blows past the 12. Kane looking for third, although Ricky Hendrick taking it 3 wide for third place down the front stretch. Not enough of a run to stay there. Down the backstretch, Harvick back to the race lead. It's Newman in second place. Johnson trailing in third. A bit of a gap after the poor entry by Kane as he had tried to make that pass. Ricky Hendrick right on his back bumper, very nearly ran into him. Down the front stretch, Newman looking to the inside again. Ends up having to play defense on Johnson now for second place. Johnson powers around the outside on the 12 and into second. Kane for third on Newman. Newman tried to squeeze him onto the inside, but Kane's got third, and now looking for more with a run off of turn number 4. Ricky Hendrick looking for fourth place, behind him in the 38. 5 laps to go here from Homestead. It's any of these guys' race at the moment. Johnson with a poor exit. Kane might have a chance for second down the backstretch. No move in the making there. Ricky Hendrick finding it tough work to get around the 12, but does eventually now clear. Johnson drops off of Harvick down the front stretch. Kane looks to the inside. Couldn't make the move stick. Can Harvick hold on to that gap for the lead? He's got a big buffer to second place. Johnson now with the rest of the top 5 hounding that 48 car. Ricky Hendrick to the inside for third place. That 5 might be the best car of this top 5 late in the run. 3 laps to go. Bit worse off that time through. Johnson and Harvick running away a little bit. Harvick keeps the gap to the 48 about the same. What a run by Ricky Hendrick in the middle of turn 4. Tony Stewart out of nowhere into the top 5. 2 laps remaining here in Miami. Harvick trying to hang on. Johnson and Hendrick trying to run him down. What a corner for the 48. Here comes Johnson. They take the white flag. It'll be these 2 for the win. The last lap here at Homestead. Harvick with a beautiful block on the 48. Pulls away from him off of turn number 2. Can Johnson get to the 29? 2 more corners to decide it. Johnson has a run. They come off of turn 4. A drag race down to the line. Kevin Harvick holds him off to win it. An absolutely fantastic finish here at Miami, and Kevin Harvick is your race winner. After 81 grueling laps here tonight, holds off the defending Cup Series champion. The 29 car wins it, the second win for RCR in Cup this season. 4 different winners in the 4 opening races. Harvick captures the win. Johnson comes up just short in second. Ricky Hendrick captures a nice top 5 for the 5 team. Ryan Newman in 4th, and Tony Stewart came out of nowhere to grab that top 10 at the end. Casey Kane grabs 6th place in the 38, just shy of a top 5, but a nice run from him tonight. And what a close finish it was here from Homestead. Johnson gave it everything he had, looking like it was going to be a photo finish there, but just had to lift to stay out of that 29 car. And Harvick brings it to the line to win it. A fantastic way to end it out tonight. Tires didn't seem to play much of a factor there at the end with the lefts and the rights, but that concludes it here from Homestead. And a great battle between two proven race winners here at the end of the Radio Shack 400. It is Harvick over Johnson to take the checkered flag here from Miami. But that'll do it here from Homestead. Race number 4 completed. Kevin Harvick, once again, your race winner here today. I'm Caden Reif on behalf of everybody here from NASCAR on ESPN. Nobody here with me today or the last race, but that's fine nonetheless. I like doing these solo anyway. We'll catch you next time. Race number 5 will be from Iowa, a new facility and a tribute race to the late Rusty Wallace for that one, but we'll catch you then. And as always, have a good one.
It's a long way to the top.